The Iron Giant has become a beloved animated film, thanks to its heartwarming story, themes, and the animation. Since then, Brad Bird has become a major director. However, there are several other notable names who had a hand in the making of the movie. Some already well known, especially among animation enthusiasts, while others were on the rise. So I'm going to celebrate those individuals and count down the top 10 names you may recognize in the credits for The Iron Giant. Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston. Unlike the rest of the people on this list, their role in this involved voiceover cameos. The two legendary Disney animators are credited as additional voices, which is strange because they're not background characters. They appear as two elderly men who talk to Kent Mansley after the giant causes an incident with a train. They're drawn to look exactly like themselves, which was a great tribute from Bird to these two important animation figures. Bird would later give them cameos again in The Incredibles. Frank and Ollie, as they were often called, were of course a part of Walt Disney's Nine Old Men and played key roles on some of the most beloved animated films of all time. They brought so much character to the personalities they helped put on screen, and honestly, if you want a fantastic review of their life and career, I highly recommend the documentary Frank and Ollie, which you can watch on Disney+. It's wonderful that Brad Bird decided to pay tribute to them with these cameos in The Iron Giant. Tony Fucile. Serving as a character designer and animator on The Iron Giant, Fucile has brought his talents to several projects at Disney, Pixar, Warner Brothers, and other studios. His collaborations with Brad Bird go way back to when he was an animator on his Family Dog episode of Amazing Stories. He found himself an in-demand animator, playing a role in animating a variety of iconic characters like Bugs Bunny, Tom and Jerry, and Aladdin. He also supervised the animation for Mufasa in The Lion King and Esmeralda in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. At Pixar, he worked on character designs and visual development on several films, winning an Annie Award for The Incredibles. That's right, you have largely Tony Fucile to thank for the unique designs of that family of superheroes. Recently, he also served as an animator on Klaus and was a character designer on Soul. He's certainly one of the best character designers working in animation today. Dean Wellins. A storyboard artist and animator on The Iron Giant, Wellins can definitely be described as multi-talented. Most of his career has been spent at Walt Disney Animation Studios, where he was a storyboard artist on a number of their recent hit films, and he even won an Annie Award for Best Storyboarding on Zootopia. At Disney, he also directed the short film Tick-Tock Tale about a sentient clock, and he was the original director of Raya and the Last Dragon. In addition to story, Wellins has proven his skill as an animator. He was part of the animation team on Jim Hawkins in Treasure Planet and Dr. Fusillier in The Princess and the Frog. And at Warner Brothers, he was the supervising animator for the villain Thrax in Osmosis Jones. He's an artist who always puts in quality work, and I look forward to seeing what he contributes and possibly directs in the future. Darren T Holmes. I feel like the editor does not receive enough attention for their contributions to animated films. However, they are incredibly important in helping the movie come together and making sure the pieces that slowly arrive to their editing suite result in an entertaining viewing experience for the audience. As the editor on The Iron Giant, Holmes definitely deserves credit for making sure the pacing was tight and the action scenes were thrilling. He did not always work in animation, though. He got his start as an apprentice editor on Star Trek The Motion Picture, and then moved up to assistant editor on the likes of Conan the Barbarian, Back to School, and Robin Hood Men in Tights. His first foray into animation arrived when he was brought in as an assistant editor on The Lion King and Pocahontas, and he has stayed there since. After The Iron Giant, Holmes served as the principal editor on Lilo and Stitch, Ratatouille, How to Train Your Dragon, The Croods, and Wolfwalkers. That's a really good resume any editor would be proud to have. Yarrow Cheney. On The Iron Giant, Cheney served as a CG animator who helped bring the titular alien robot to life on screen, with it seamlessly interacting with the hand-drawn characters and environments. 1999 was actually quite an eventful year for him, as he also designed the fantastic intro for the Dilbert animated series, which he won an Emmy Award for. He also animated on Cats Don't Dance and was the production designer on Curious George and the Oscar-winning short The Chub Chubs. Cheney eventually became a key creative talent at Illumination Entertainment, where he was the production designer on the first two Despicable Me movies and The Lorax, as well as contributing character designs to the latter. After directing the Minion short Puppy, he co-directed The Secret Life of Pets, and alongside Scott Mosier directed The Grinch. My favorite Illumination film, you definitely notice Cheney's visual expertise on the depiction of Whoville, resulting in a beautiful looking movie. And he recently directed a holiday special about the Three Wise Men. Yarrow Cheney is an artist who knows how to create appealing visuals. Teddy Noon. He took on multiple roles on The Iron Giant, where he was a storyboard artist, character designer, and visual development artist. He also wrote the duck and cover song that appears in the movie in the form of an in-universe educational film warning of the dangers of nuclear bombs. His unique style and use of color has definitely made its way into a number of projects he's worked on. Noonan designed the excellent end credit sequences for both Incredibles movies and Ratatouille. His distinct voice can also be heard in some Pixar movies, including as the newsreel announcer in The Incredibles and the chatter telephone who helps Woody in Toy Story 3. Teddy Noonan has brought his sensibility to short films as well. He directed the very funny Annie-nominated short Boys' Night Out, in addition to one of my favorite Pixar shorts, Day and Night, which cleverly mixed CG and hand-drawn animation. He was going to direct a feature film at Pixar, but there have not been any updates in a long time, so I guess that's not happening anymore. Either way, Teddy Noonan is someone who contributed memorable moments to several animated films. Mark Andrews. Since winning an Annie Award for his storyboards on The Iron Giant, Andrews has proven himself to be an artist with a particular talent for action sequences. This resulted in him being hired as a storyboard artist on Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, the head of story on The Incredibles, and a writer and storyboard artist on a few Genndy Tartakovsky shows. He wrote 5 episodes of Samurai Jack, including one of my favorites, Jack and the Scotsman, and also contributed to the first season of Tartakovsky's Clone Wars series, which won him an Emmy. At Pixar, Andrews directed the short film One Man Band, which earned him an Oscar nomination. He later replaced Brenda Chapman as the director of Brave, and listening to the audio commentary gives a sense that some of the more comedic parts of the film came from him. He also co-wrote and was a second unit director on John Carter. He was set to direct another film at Pixar, but he since left the studio and is now currently working on an animated show titled Supergiant Robot Brothers for Netflix. I expect plenty of action. Peter Sohn. He has had an impressive career, most notably at Pixar, but his first animation credit was on The Iron Giant, where he worked as an animator and in-betweener. After also animating on Osmosis Jones, Sohn followed Brad Bird to Pixar, where he worked as a story artist and animator on several movies, including The Incredibles, WALL-E, and Up. However, he has contributed to Pixar films in other roles too. He was the inspiration behind the character of Russell in Up, and he became a voice actor, playing Remy's brother Emile in Ratatouille, Squishy in Monsters University, and one of the villain's lackeys in Luca. Sohn also directed the English language dub of Hayao Miyazaki's Ponyo, the charming Pixar short Partly Cloudy, and eventually The Good Dinosaur. And he recently earned his first producing credit, after being listed as an executive producer on Luca. He's apparently cooking up another feature film at Pixar, and I look forward to seeing what he creates. Lauren Faust. While Faust is now most often associated with creating My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, she has a long and impressive list of credits that go beyond that show. Some of her earliest credits were as an animator on a variety of feature films, including Cats Don't Dance, where she animated Sawyer, and The Iron Giant. Brad Bird even gave her a shout-out on the DVD's audio commentary, complimenting her animation. She then made her way to Cartoon Network, where she worked alongside Craig McCracken on a number of series. She was a storyboard artist and director on the Powerpuff Girls, and then the pair worked closely on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, for which he won an Emmy Award. She then shocked everyone by turning My Little Pony into a show with multi-generational and multi-gender appeal. Since then, she almost directed the Medusa movie for Sony Animation, worked alongside McCracken again on Wander Over Yonder and Kid Cosmic, and developed the DC Superhero Girls animated series. Faust recently revealed she is working on a new show for Netflix. She has definitely made a name for herself since the days of The Iron Giant, and understandably so. And the number one name you may recognize in the Iron Giant credits is Pete Townsend. That's right, Pete Townsend of the British band The Who is credited as an executive producer on the movie. It seems random, but there's actually a reason for this. Townsend was a fan of Ted Hughes' book The Iron Man and thought it would make a good stage musical. He acquired the rights and created an album with songs based on the book, released in 1989. A stage show then premiered in London in 1993. Theater director Des McAnuff suggested to Townsend that the material would make a good animated movie. The film rights were then sold to Warner Brothers. Around that time, WB gave Brad Bird a list of possible animated movies to direct, and he picked The Iron Man, which later became The Iron Giant. However, Bird decided to take the story someplace else and not use Townsend's songs. According to co-writer Tim McCanley's, when Townsend was told this, he shrugged and said, "Well, whatever, I got paid." He remained an executive producer and even attended the wrap party when the movie was finished. McAnuff also got a producing credit for his troubles. It's fascinating to think this now cherished animated film exists because of a famous British rock star. And as you can see, the Iron Giant involved many talents who played key roles in a lot of well-regarded animated productions before and since. See you next time.